What's up? It's your boy Woujo. I'm here to talk today about your game plan for approaching women. Now, normally when you approach women, or really in any social situation, you should just be in the moment and say whatever pops into your head rather than coming in with a script. When you talk based off a script, you sound stilted, unnatural, and your words kind of don't match the context of the situation. That said, if you're inexperienced and very anxious with women, your mind probably goes blank when you're in the heat of the moment trying to talk to a woman, like most guys. So in that moment, I advise you to have a game plan of about two to three openers and two to three what I call second lines to get the conversation going. Now, an opener and a second line is just some words to help you find something interesting and fun that you and her can talk about so that ultimately and eventually the conversation just gets going on its own and it becomes a natural, authentic, organic conversation. I think of it as similar to starting up a lawnmower. When you start up a lawnmower, you may need to pull the cord a few times to get the lawnmower going, but once it gets going, you don't need to do anything else. It just goes on its own. So that's your goal in a conversation, is to just get the lawnmower going. And that's why you need the game plan to just have a few lines to say when your mind goes blank. Now, the first thing you need to know before we get into the actual openers that I use is that everything you say should be a compliment. Now, I don't mean that everything you say should be, I love you, you're awesome, you're great. What I mean is that you should only speak to a woman or really do anything for a woman only after she's done something to deserve it. The alpha male only gives the betas attention when they contribute to the tribe somehow. And if she's done nothing to contribute to the tribe, then you paying her attention makes it look like you are trying to validate yourself to her and trying to manipulate her to get something. She has to feel like you genuinely care and are genuinely interested in talking to her and you actually think she's valuable and interesting. And you're not just saying shit just to get the conversation going. And to illustrate this idea, I want to tell a little story from my life. So I used to live in a gay neighborhood, and I'm a straight guy, but I'm not homophobic. And if a gay guy wants to hit on me, I don't get angry. I don't get mad. I actually think it's funny sometimes. And I'll just say to the guy, hey, thank you. That's very nice of you. But just to let you know, I'm straight. So don't think anything's going to happen. But you can buy me a drink if you want. And usually it goes fine. And, a lot of gay guys have hit on me, and I'm cool with them, and I don't even mind having a little conversation with them if they have something interesting to say. But one day, I'm leaving the gym, and in my little gay neighborhood, and this guy walks up to me, and he's like, hey, do you know where Ahmed lives? Now, I'm a Middle Eastern guy, but I don't know anybody named Ahmed. So I was like, no, and I kept walking. And then the guy followed me and he was like, oh, well, I was looking for Ahmed and I heard he lived around here and I was wondering. And I was like, hey, man, I don't know who Ahmed is and I don't know where he lives. And we don't all know each other, bro. And I thought that was the end of the conversation because I didn't know who Ahmed was. But then he was like, well, where do you live? And I was like, bro, what the fuck does it matter where I live? What does that have to do with anything? And then I realized he doesn't give a fuck about Ahmed. This guy's just trying to talk to me. And the whole Ahmed thing was like a bullshit ruse he cooked up just to say something to me. And in that moment, man, I felt really creeped out because I was talking to a con artist. This guy's trying to fucking lie to me, pretend like he was interested in some guy named Ahmed, which I don't even know who that is, but really he just wants to fuck me. And to be honest, man, in that moment, if he had just said, hey, dude, you were really fucking hot and I would love to take you behind the bushes and fuck the shit out of you, that would have been better. Now, I would have said no. I would have been like, hey, I'm straight. No, thank you. But at least he would have been being honest. But the fact that he was kind of wrapping his words in this fake thing that he didn't give a fuck about was really unsettling and off-putting. And I think that happens a lot when you speak with women. If the woman senses that you don't actually give a fuck about the subject matter of the conversation, she's not going to want to talk to you. It's going to come off as creepy and weird. I was actually at a party 3 nights ago, and one of my friends approached this girl, and then my friend is like, so where are you from? And the girl's like, I'm from Argentina. And the guy's like, oh, Argentina, that's an interesting country. And I was like, bro, you don't give a fuck about Argentina, man. Stop acting, dude. You got to make her think that you're genuinely interested in whatever you're talking about. So that's why I say everything you say is a compliment. She has to feel like you actually care. I remember one time I said to a girl, where do you work? And she genuinely looked at me and was like, Why do you give a shit where I work? And she was right. I didn't care where she worked. I was just trying to fuck her. And you have to think, like, a line like "Where do you work?" is a compliment because it implies that she's interesting enough for you to care where she works. So I just want you to keep that idea of everything as a compliment in your mind as we go through the rest of this exercise. So here's a list of a few openers that I use. Now, I've used these openers hundreds of times, maybe thousands, and they generally work for me. They may not work for you. You may not feel comfortable saying them. They may not match your personality or appearance or whatever, but I just know that in my life, these have worked for me. You can think of your own, you can try your own, but ultimately the goal is to have just a few openers in your game plan that you can use whenever your mind goes blank. Now, as you can see, these are just very simple. The idea that you need to have some interesting, clever pickup line is just wrong. It's like one of those lies that you learn in TV and movies. It's not true. You can't make a approach feel like this big, grand, weird event. You just have to act like I'm just a chill guy coming to talk to you, and it's not weird or unnatural that you're talking to a complete stranger. So, the best opener is "Hi, my name is Woujo. What's yours?" That's it. That's it. That's all you need to know. Stop making it too complicated. Um, hey, how are you? Oh, by the way, at some point in the conversation, you always have to ask what your name is, okay? If you've been talking to a girl for like 10 minutes, I actually think the conversation doesn't really start until the exchange of names happens. Because until then, it's kind of just two strangers talking. But asking her name, it kind of like makes it serious. Like, we're going to have a relationship now. Now, it may not be sex, but we're going to have some relationship because now we know each other's names. So at some point, you have to ask your name, but sometimes your opener could be what's your name is. Another opener. Hey, how are you? What's going on with you? What's your deal? What's up? That's it. Don't make it too complicated. I mean, think about it. If you're Brad Pitt, like imagine you're Brad Pitt, hottest guy in the world, every girl wants to fuck you. Would you go around trying to like get women with complicated and interesting pickup lines? Like, no, you just get, "Hi, my name's Brad Pitt. What's yours?" Or, "Hey, how are you?" And that's how you should act. And what's more important than what you say is how you say it. You have to say it with confidence. You have to say it with eye contact. You have to be looking directly at her. You have to be standing right in front of her, shoulder to shoulder, square. You can't be coming in from the side. You can't be talking to her from behind. You can't be like far away. You can't be talking timidly. You got to get right up in her face and be like, "Hey, you're talking to me now." Okay? And obviously, look, if she's not interested, you give her space, you walk away. But half-assed from the side approaches, weak, timid approaches, those don't work because number one, they make you look like you're not confident, but also they don't make her feel like you're really complimenting her. She doesn't feel special when you are just like, "Hey, so hey, what's your you know what I mean?" Like getting in her face. Okay, so my favorite approach of all time is to compliment her. Now, you can compliment her on a lot of things, but it's always better to compliment her on something she did rather than something she doesn't have any control over. If she just has a really pretty face, you can say, "Oh my God, your face is so beautiful." But that doesn't really register with a lot of women because they didn't do anything to get that beautiful face. But if they did their makeup in a really interesting way, or if they did their hair in an interesting way, or if they picked out a really good outfit, then that's something that a compliment would really resonate with her because she spent time putting all that shit together so that guys could notice. So you can be the guy that's ballsy enough to notice. And when I compliment girls on, sometimes I sound a little gay or a little fruity, but the reality is I don't have anything else to say to her. Let's say, like, look at this girl right here. I don't know anything about her. Okay, if I just saw her out in the wild, I mean, she's probably interesting. She's probably smart. She's probably got a lot going on. I don't know any of that. All I know is that she's wearing an interesting outfit. So I'd probably compliment her like, "Hey, I love your hat. I love your outfit. I love your little bow tie thingy. I love the way it all comes together. Like, I love your style." That's really all I have to say to her. And I actually do like her style. I think she looks cool. And then when I say that, she can react in a few different ways. Some women are just like, "Oh, thank you," but like, no, thank you. Like they take the compliment and they keep moving. A very tiny minority of women don't acknowledge it. But if a woman doesn't acknowledge it, that's usually just because you didn't say it in a confident enough way. You didn't get right up in her face. You didn't say it with enough like authority. At the very least, most women acknowledge a compliment. And then if a woman's into you, she'll say thank you, but then she'll say or do something to make it clear that she's willing to talk to you more, that she wants more compliments. So she'll be like, oh, thank you so much. What's your name? Or like, she'll be like, oh, thank you. You're so sweet. And make eye contact with you. And then that's when you go to your second line. Now, again, oh, sorry, I'm skipping ahead. Here are some examples of openers. These are real openers I've done. Again, you may think they're gay or fruity or whatever, but they work for me, but they may not work for you. So try them out. If you don't like them, come up with your own. Hey, sorry for interrupting, but I love your sneakers. I can tell you don't give a fuck what people think because you came to a nightclub with sneakers on. Now, I've actually used this opener many times with different girls, and it almost always resonates because it's true. Like women feel a lot of pressure to wear these uncomfortable ass high heels to the club to impress guys, even though it makes the night less fun for them. But if there's a guy that appreciates the fact that she still looks hot with sneakers on, women like that. You know, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I love the fact that your sneakers are white. Like I just bought some white sneakers recently, and I now realize how hard they are to keep clean. So if I see someone with clean white sneakers, I really admire that. Again, that's a corny thing, fruity, whatever you want to call it. But I just don't have anything else to say. You know, I don't know her. Another opener. You look fucking amazing, and I love your vibe and energy. What's your name? Again, you know, trying to give her a compliment, get the conversation going. If I saw this girl here, like she's really pretty, as you can see, she's wearing a really sick jacket. I'd probably compliment her jacket. I'd be like, oh my god, I fucking love your jacket. That shit is so sick. Or I'd be like, I just love your whole outfit. It all comes together so well. Like you look fucking amazing. I love your hair. You know. Sometimes if I want to get cheeky, I'll say something like, you are way too hot for this club. And like, I know that sounds like really douchey and arrogant, but that one actually resonates with a lot of women. Another one is like, you look amazing, but more importantly, you look very confident, self-assured. That's the kind of person I want to meet. I like this kind of approach because it kind of says that like, look, I think you're hot, which is important, but I don't just care about looks. I care about the whole package. Women don't want to just be reduced to their looks because subconsciously women realize that looks are like not that important of a contribution. No man is really ever going to love a woman just for her looks. So women want to be loved for like more than that. Okay, so once you say the first line, then you want to keep the conversation going. So here are some examples of what I call like my second lines. And again, these are just what have worked for me. I've tried them a lot. They've worked a lot, but again, you got to do what works for you. Sometimes let's say, where were you before this? Or what have you been up to tonight? How do y'all know each other? Okay, is it, you know, what brings you here tonight? What's the special occasion? And what's kind of good about these lines is that they resonate with what's on her feelings at that moment. You know, like if she comes to the club with her friends, she wants to get drunk and dance. If you walk up to her and you're like, hey, so where do you work? What are your hobbies? The girl's gonna be like, fuck off, man. I don't want to talk about that shit. I'm here to fucking party. You know what I mean? So, but if you say things like, where were you before this? Or what have you been up to tonight? That kind of like resonates with what she's feeling because she's like, she's on an adventure. She was at one club. Now she came to another club. Where's she gonna go next? Who fucking knows? Who's she gonna meet? So, you know, once you kind of get talking to her and kind of start exploring her feelings, then you can go into like, where do you work? What do you like to do? But for that initial approach, where were you before this? What have you been up to tonight? Those are good lines. A weird one is, what did you do today? Now that is surprisingly effective because most people, what they did that day is emotionally resonant for them. It's on their minds. They either had a good day or a bad day. She might have gotten dumped by her boyfriend. She might have got a promotion at her job. She might have got discovered to be the next fucking top model. Like who fucking knows? You know? What did you do today is like almost always a good resonating line. So this is basically the foundation of my game plan. Within this general framework, when I'm in the moment, I try to just say whatever is funny and interesting and emotionally resonant at that time. But again, if my mind goes blank, then I default to this stuff. All right, that's your boy Woujo, Woujo. Go to my website, woujo.com, and also go to Amazon and buy my book. And keep pimping. I need to find like a good tagline. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I need to find a good tagline. All right. See you later.